And here we go with week 18.
Playoffs, baby!
Holy hell.
Woo!
Dan's back.
We didn't get very far. Dan's obviously very excited about his football team. They have clinched a spot. Okay, we might as well go through this whole outfit here.
Can you see my pants?
I don't know. Katie still out. Can you see it?
Yes.
Dan's wearing Zubas.
The beer's in the way. You can't see him.
Might as well do like whatever you're gonna do.
I can't stand up on that chair.
You can do it, Dan. Well, no, I didn't say stand. No, I'm just saying put your leg up there.
Put my leg. Can you see?
Holy hell.
Yes.
Woo!
Dan's in full gear. I haven't
Old
seen.
school. Browns logo and everything.
Might as well show the fucking tag, man, and show they're off. Zubas. Holy hell. Z-U-B-A-Z. Nobody has those anymore except for the
These
good
babies
fucking Will.
brand freaking new.
No, what do you mean brand new?
Look at 'em.
From 86?
Look at them.
Brand new from when?
For sale tomorrow for $100.
Dude, hold on. How long have you had those things?
Probably
Wait.
since the 80s.
Yeah, right. 86 or they stopped making them.
Is that when they stopped?
I don't fucking know. I'm
When
making,
they came out,
making
I was
fun
like,
right
holy
now.
hell, I gotta have these.
Jeez, that's quite a start. It is week 18.
We determined that they were not pajama pants because there's no pee hole in them.
No peel and pockets. My wife.
I got pockets, not a back pocket. I did wear these to the stadium one time, and I don't know how I did it.
84, 82, 83.
No, it was probably in the 90s when I wore these. I'm just thinking back,
Without
because
Amy.
it was way before her. Now,
They-
when she saw them, she was like, I thought I threw those away.
Twice, except I drug them out of the trash because I take the trash down.
Yeah,
Anyway.
these babies aren't in there. I got a Notre Dame pair still hidden too.
They got to be hidden. They're
I know
cherished
those babies
articles
are.
of clothing, I guess. I don't know. Dan showed up here. My wife said, "Hey, I like your jammy pants."
Shit.
Anyway, we haven't gotten very far. It's good. There's not that much written on what I call the intro portion of the board, but it's week 18. It's the last week of the National Football League season, sadly, although we're looking for the playoffs, but man, am I going to miss football. And it's 2024.
It's 2024. Missed the show last week because I thought I was prepping for a colonoscopy again.
Again.
Well, I did the
Sounds
colonoscopy
like you're doing
over
it
the
for
summer.
fun. Oh, why are you doing it again?
I wasn't doing it again. I had the flu.
Oh, he enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it that much that I was like, oh, yeah, I like, the butt faucet.
Holy God. Anyway, yeah, it's the first time it's just been Dan and I on the set here in quite a while. We had the guest pickers, Davis, Keaton, Danta Claus.
Yeah, that guy was good last week.
Yeah, anyway, we're back. Dan and I are both fully healthy, so that's good. It's good back to have good to have our regular set back, I suppose. So anyway, like I said, I didn't write much on the board. We're going to talk about New Year's Eve. I can start because not really much happened here at all on New Year's Eve. Obviously, there was a full slate of Sunday football. I watched all of that, and then like 7 o'clock or 7:30, I went in to shower. Drinky, smoky, whatever is going on out here watching football. Figured we'd do something as a family or something, but I ended up showering. We laid on the couch. I didn't have another drink the rest of the night.
Holy hell.
Yeah, we watched whatever those shows are, the Dick Clark, whatever, Ryan Seacrest thing, or the country thing, and things like nothing really happened here at all, Dan. So hopefully you got something to fill us in on, or do we want to do the beer review before we talk about?
Oh, let's do the beer review first before I start rambling.
Good.
Sour Me Gummy.
Sour Me Gummy Bear. Chicago Bear.
Gummy Bear. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to find beers, or we always do these 16-ounce beers. I can find plenty of 12 ounces, but I like to do a 16-ounce. Dan likes sours. Talk to me about this thing, Dan.
Crafted be cherished, rules be damned. Dew Claw Brewing Company. Do you remember where that's from?
It's right on the side of the can. It says Ewing, New Jersey on it.
Oh, yeah, Jersey.
Probably Tommy Cutlet's hometown.
Yeah. 5.5% alcohol by volume.
Easy like Sunday morning.
Deliciously flavorful and fun.
Dude. I don't know why you gotta do that voice.
Tropical sour bite.
You're gonna like it. Don't act like you're not.
Candy smack. No, I'll probably like it.
This is not really my
I like
thing.
a sour.
I like the color. It looks like a regular Pilsner beer, right?
It does. Uh-oh, I knocked the logo
It's
over.
because you got those fucking gloves on.
Woo!
You bang shit around when you have gloves on.
It's not as sour as I had hoped.
Really?
I don't think it's sour at all.
Dan brought over something from the Sweetwater Brewing Company in Atlanta. It was another gummy bear sounding thing, and it was high octane. It was 9.5%. I can't drink that.
12-ounce can.
I can't fucking drink that thing, and I can drink sweet.
It didn't even make it on the show because, I brought that over, and, it was right before
I can't
Christmas.
drink that thing. It's so tart.
Is it? I got
You
more
didn't
at
try
home.
one?
No. They're still in the
I don't
new
mind
Bud
this
Light
one.
fridge.
This isn't that. You can tell it's an ale.
Yeah, but I like
I actually don't mind this one.
A little more sour.
A little more
It's all
sour. Dan's panning a little bit, but that's fine. We'll figure something out again for next week. For Wild Card Weekend, I'm looking forward to that, but we're not there yet.
So what did we do?
Yeah, what'd you do for
We
yours?
went with the neighbors. We went, stayed local, went to downtown Akron, in the, what do you call it, the North Side District where famous Luigi's Pizza is.
Right?
There's a Marriott Hotel, and on the side of the Marriott Hotel, there's a speakeasy. So when you walk in off the street, there's a door, and when you walk in, it looks like it's just a bookcase, like you're like, where am I at? But then there's another door to go into the hotel lobby.
That's fucking like an escape room bar.
Yeah, so you have to know how to open the speakeasy, and if I remember correctly,
Is that a code word?
It's you can knock on it, and sometimes people will open it from inside.
They have a killer knocker like the Munsters had?
No, it's a bookcase, so there's not a knocker. You'd have to
You gotta
bang
pull the
on
right
it.
book? What do you gotta do?
You gotta
How do you
pull.
do?
It's the Cracker Jack box, I believe, and you pull it, and it opens up the door.
Like the shit that you get a prize in? The Cracker Jack
Yeah.
box? Okay.
The prize is come on in and get a fancy drink.
Really?
Yeah, but it's a really dark, like a speakeasy. Supposed to be hidden, from the authorities during Prohibition and shit.
Yeah.
It's not a big place at all. I think your garage is probably bigger than the bar.
They have swinging doors? I feel like the speakeasy has to have a swinging door.
No, it was a secret door, and then it's connected to the hotel. So the door to get into the lobby of the hotel is actually an old school, like English phone booth.
Holy God. Did it have spittoons? I got more questions.
I don't see a spittoon.
I feel like speakeasy
up in the front, there's like little couches and shit to sit on. They got a black and white TV, little TV,
Black
like
and
19-inch TV.
What?
And it's playing, like I Love Lucy was on in black and
this
white.
is really fucking themey.
Oh, yeah.
Dan sent me a text when I asked him about it, and he kept on using fucking acronyms. I know SRG stands for Sands Rural Gardens, which is where Dan goes, but you...
Oh, that was Saturday night.
But hold on. But you read a place, and you wrote DBA. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Dante Bucasio in Akron.
Okay, that's where you were at the
Yeah.
speakeasy? Okay. How the fuck
Well,
was I
the
supposed to know that?
speakeasy... Well, I thought everybody knew what DBA was.
Yeah, doing business as. I thought the guy was just too fucking lazy and thought it was going to cost him extra
we
money
went
to put an
over-
actual title on the bar.
We laughed, walked to next door. Oh my God, I had a steak that was phenomenal.
At the speakeasy?
No, at DBA.
Oh, that's a different place.
Yeah, that was the
What's the
restaurant.
speakeasy called?
I don't think it has a name.
What?
I honestly don't.
What the hell? I'm thoroughly confused a
I don't
little
think
bit.
it's a secret, dude.
Okay, fine. They had alcohol in there, right?
In the speakeasy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and a fucking I Love Lucy 19-inch TV. So you guys just had a drink or so there? Was it?
One drink. I had two because I was drinking Bud Light.
What's the occupancy of that place? You said it's tiny. Do you know?
30?
30. Like,
Maybe 30. Maybe.
how many people were in there?
It was pretty crowded. I mean, some fucking guy almost knocked my wife over trying to get to our table, which,
Shit's tight.
well, it kind of pissed me off because we were in the table in the corner of the place and we trying to get out and he's coming nobody was taking the table and he was just rude as fuck and wouldn't let us get out.
Did you get an argument?
I was like,
You had a little shot,
I was, well, and the lady that he was with was like, oh, and backed up and
Was he drunk?
no, he's just being an ass.
Oh, hell.
There's assholes everywhere.
Oh, that's a true story for sure.
But he was rude as hell. I mean, it just pissed me off. I mean, they knew we were leaving.
God.
And I actually wanted to flag somebody else down that had been standing there longer. Those people were just close enough to the table where we were at.
I get it. He wanted your table.
Yeah.
Got it. I was a little confused there, so.
He's lucky he didn't walk out of there with a head injury.
All right. Can't be, you're too old to get in bar fights, Dan.
I would have just bumped him till he fell and hit the head on a brick wall.
All right, so we go here. What next door is a place called DBA where it's a real, like it's a steakhouse or some shit?
Yeah, oh, it was good.
It stands for something like Italian name?
Dante Bacazzi. I don't know. Is that Italian?
I don't know. How the fuck you spell Bacazzi?
I don't know.
That's how you tell it's Italian.
I don't know. It was a good place. But, and this was killer. They sat us down, and you know who we were with.
Yes, your neighbors. I know them very well.
And where we're at, we had a sweet spot right in front of a window, table for four. There was a little small table next to us, kind of like behind us. And my neighbor asked the guy what he had ordered.
What, recommendation? Like what's good?
Yeah. Well, he was talking because, they have steaks and, you can pick your steaks a la carte. Well, they had a special, a filet mignon for New Year's Eve, and it had a crab crust that they put on the filet.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, the guy had the strip steak, and they advertised it as a 14-ounce strip. Dude, It was so much bigger than 14 freaking ounces. I mean, it was huge.
Look at that fucking porterhouse.
So we get to talking to this guy, and Lair goes, I wonder if they would put that crab crust on the strip steak. And the guy's like, good play. He goes, and I'm like, oh, we're going to ask. And he goes, I'm going to sit here until I hear the answer. I don't know.
Who said that, Larry?
The guy that was sitting here.
I
don't know if it was kind of, he had like a food critic vibe to him because they had ordered a bunch of shit. And they had a bunch of stuff to go. And it was like he was waiting to see the response. So when the guy came up, we were like, yeah, he and I are both going to get the special, but we want to substitute the filet for the strip steak. Can you do that?
With the crab shit.
Yeah. And he said, let me check, and he came back, he goes, yeah, we can do that.
Yes.
Dude, it was freaking phenomenal.
Really?
Phenomenal.
Great. Your first time there, I'm assuming, right?
Second time.
Really?
We were there last New Year's Eve. But it was
this is
so
tradition.
freaking good. And I'll show you the picture later. I mean, it was not a 14-ounce strip steak. It was big.
Did you get through it all?
I ate mine. Every clean play club for me. Larry had to take a to-go bag.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
But it was so
Who drove?
He did.
Yeah. That's good. Then you went back to their place for a bit, hung out until the ball dropped.
They dropped us off. We took the dog over to their house and hung out. We actually watched the ball drop in New York and then hooked up on the Nashville scene.
Yeah, an hour later, right?
Yeah. Skinner was playing. I was into Skinner.
Dude,
50 years since their first album was released.
We're watching that too. How many of those people are real, like, Skinner members? That front fucking guy, I think, was.
No? He died in the plane crash. That's his brother.
The Van Zant boys.
Ronnie Van Zant was the lead singer of Skinner.
Okay.
He died in the plane crash. Guitar player died in the plane crash. The guitar player's sister, who was a vocalist for the band, died in the plane crash. That was Donnie Van Zant that was singing for the New Year's Eve thing. He was the lead singer of 38 Special.
No way.
Yeah.
Really? The lead singer of 38 Special.
Yeah.
Are you sure about that? I can do it. Hold up. But
yeah, I'm sure.
They almost seem a little bit different eras. Alexa, who was the lead singer for the band 38 Special?
Don Barnes is the lead singer of the band 38 Special.
Is Don Barnes the same as Don Van Zant?
Ask her.
This is not going to fucking work. I'm like, Alexa, is Don Barnes the same person as Don Van Zant?
From CelebrityNetwork.com. Born in the early 50s, Don Barnes became known to the public after co-founding the band 38 Special with fellow musician Donnie Van Zant. Did that answer your question?
Oh, so maybe he wasn't the...
Don Barnes is the lead singer, but Donnie Van Zant is a co-founder of 38 Special.
So
but
maybe I got my facts wrong.
It's close. I mean, you're fucking on it pretty good. I'll take it. Not bad. So, anyway, yeah, I saw the whole thing. I told Katie too. Like, I'm like, she's like, is Nashville in the same time, Eastern time zone?
No, they're an hour behind.
I know. I didn't realize that Nashville's a really long, Tennessee's a very long state. I'm sure part of it's in the Eastern time zone. There's no way it's not. It has to be. It has to be divided. So, anyway, I don't know. Good. I didn't have much written down. Where you at with your Christmas decorations? Up, down, where we at?
They're all still up. It's still the Christmas season. The wise man hasn't showed up yet. What are you doing?
Lazy.
Lazy?
Yeah.
Come on.
This shit went down to 26th in here. And it went down. I wasn't feeling so hot. The 26, 27. Part of the reason why Dan and I didn't shoot the show together. And I hobbled something together on Friday for the show. But it was down outside on the 28th, I want to say. Katie's got a good chunk of it down inside. Not the big forest tree. That's still, taking up all those sand dollars. There's like a bazillion sand dollars on that fucking thing. So that's some work right there. That's a few hours at a minimum just to get the quote-unquote ornaments, which are all sand dollars off of it. So, but we're in the process. So have you started it all even?
No.
No. All right.
Why? I'm not in a hurry.
Why? I'm done. I think I lacked some holiday spirit this year, but anyway, we were done.
Yeah,
So.
what the fuck?
New Year's resolutions, Dan?
None.
There's a fucking candy dish at the office I'm trying to stay away from.
Oh,
That's
get
one
out
of
of here. Just stay away from him. Why does that have to be a resolution?
I'm trying my best. Another thing, real talk. There's a few people that are like really positive in my life. Like everything is like fucking glass half full type thing. I appreciate those people in my life. I'm going to try to be
Like
more
me?
like that. No, that's not you. No, you're not one of those people. No, you're not one of those positive people in my life. I appreciate you, but you are not.
How am
one
I
of-
not positive?
You're not. There's nowhere fucking close. So anyway, hey, we made that intro work. I think we did. So last week, Dan was 7-9. He has 135, 115 and 6 on the year, plus 20. He dropped a little bit. Dan, you got to go 13-3 to make it to the coveted plus 30 mark. No, with his elephant pick that was written
Friggin'
down.
Rams.
The Rams, yes. They did not play well, but they're in. We'll talk about football in a bit. Dan's 8-7-2 on the year with his best bets. Another back-to-back 10-6 week for myself. Very good number. I'm 141, 109 and 6. That is plus 32 on the year. It's my best mark by far, I'm sure. I also hit my elephant pick with Jacksonville. I'm 10-6-1 on the season. I got lucky with the Jacks pick. I remember looking at the line. It was Jacks -4. At home against Carolina, I'm like, I thought Trevor Lawrence was fucking playing. By the time I shot the show on Friday with Santa Claus, he had already been ruled out, so I got a little bit fortunate with that. I might have changed my mind. But anyway, that's that. Very good season for Dan and I. And next week, we'll talk, when we get to Walker, I'll play back what our season prediction show was. I know my Super Bowl picks were way the fuck off. I think we did division winners and everything else like that. I'm going to play that back and give you an idea of where we stood on things.
San Francisco.
Yeah, I remember you were San Francisco. Who was your AFC pick? Do you remember?
Was it Miami? I had Miami winning the East.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Boy, is that a game, but we're not there yet. That's Sunday Night Football. It's written on the board. Congrats to Dan. He let you know that his team's in the playoffs when I got about 3 syllables in to saying that we are back for Week 18. He let you know. Congratulations to the in-laws team, the Miami Dolphins. They're 100% in as well. I tell you what, tough betting week. Be careful, buyer beware this week. There's a lot of games that mean nothing. You have no idea who's going to play. You have no idea who's checked out, thinking about their vacation in Cancun or wherever the fuck they're going. So it's a tough betting week. Be careful with this. Lay off. There's all kinds of things to bet next week with the wild card round. So anyway, we got 2 games on Saturday. And then we got a full slate on Sunday. There's no Monday football, nothing like that. 2 days this week. Both the games on Saturday are on ESPN. They start at 4:30 with the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to play the Baltimore Ravens. Pittsburgh's a 4-point favorite in this game, and you're probably like, what the fuck? Well, that's why you're watching the show. Pittsburgh is 9-7 on the season. Baltimore's 13-3. The reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers are favored going to Baltimore is because Baltimore has clinched the number 1 seed in the AFC. They will get a bye week, which is super important. Pittsburgh's scenario. Well, let's talk about their win. Huge win last week out in the Pacific Northwest. I mean,
Wow, I'm pissed that we didn't beat Seattle.
back-to-back,
They're not that good.
back-to-back wins for the Steelers to put them in a position where they're not dead. And it was that home win against Cincinnati, and then they went out to Seattle and played a pretty good football game. Did you see that game? Was it on locally? I don't know.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw part of it? Yeah.
Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Mason Rudolph's turned that team around a little bit.
Oh, he's turning it around, yeah.
Woo! Turn around may be a little strong, right? But, well, I'll put it this way. Kenny Pickett's healthy, and Rudolph's going to start. So they need a win. Pittsburgh needs a win, a Buffalo loss, and a Jacksonville loss to get in. It's
Listen
gonna.
to that silent car pull up.
That is my neighbors. Some of their family is in down Florida. It's a Tesla.
It's electric.
It's electric. Do you know how to do the electric slide, Dan?
No, I suck at that.
I do. I know that fucking dance. I don't know if I can still remember it. Man, we used to do that shit back in college. Man, I don't know. That's pretty good. I feel like I don't know. No, I'm fucking in court. I'm sure I was terrible at it, but what the fuck? I knew how to do it.
We're white. We stink. at
Anyway,
dancing.
Pittsburgh, huge win in Seattle. Puts them in a position to be viable this week, if you will. But to recap, they need a Buffalo loss. Wait, they don't need both of them. They need a Buffalo loss.
They have to win.
They have to win. And they need a Buffalo loss or a Jacksonville loss. So we'll see about that. But it's a very big football game. And in Baltimore, they've shown to be the class of the National Football League with back-to-back blowout wins against San Francisco and then last week against Miami.
They kicked the shit out of Miami.
Put up 56 fucking points against them, man. I tell you what, they look like the class to me. And here's the thing. I don't know if they're going to rest their players or not because Lamar Jackson's the MVP, right? I
don't see who
sealed
else
the
you
deal.
give it to.
Sealed the deal last week.
Yeah.
I mean, that performance in San Francisco, and then
As much as it pains me to say, I don't. It's got to be him.
The last time he was the MVP, this will be his second time winning. It was 2019. Baltimore was the number one seed then. They also rested their it's the fucking gloves, I'm telling you. They rested their players the final week of the season, and then Tennessee came to town after their bye and promptly ran the fuck over them. Now, is John Harbaugh going to change his thoughts and play their players a little bit in this game, Dan? Is Pittsburgh going to win this game by 4? Well, I'm not even ready to talk about the picks yet. Dan and I both like the backup quarterback. If John Harbaugh decides to go that way and Lamar doesn't play at all, which is there's a very good likelihood. Tyler Huntley, right? Remember talking about him and thinking maybe that guy should have got a look for like a starting job, you know?
He ain't that good.
No? Pittsburgh -4. They're going to win this game in Baltimore?
I'm taking Pittsburgh on this one. They're banged up. They're going to be cautious. Baltimore, they're the best team in the NFL. And you got to have as many pieces going into the playoffs. And this game doesn't mean shit to Baltimore.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Right. At the end of the day, it's right. And then I don't think John Harbaugh is going to be swayed by 2019 when they did the rest of their players and they came out looking, kind of ho-hum. And they got beat by the freight train that was Derrick Henry. I remember that game. Pittsburgh -4 in this game. Look, these are bitter rivals.
They're better rivals, but it's Mason Rudolph, too.
I think Pittsburgh finds a way to win this game. I'm taking the points with the Ravens, though. I'm taking the points. I think Baltimore's not going to go down easy. I don't think they're going to roll over and they're just going to be celebrating there and like, yoo-hoo, we're the 1 seed. We don't play next week. Fuck y'all. I don't think it's going to happen that way. I mean, they don't like each other. So I like Baltimore to play. I like their backup quarterback, Tyler Huntley. I'm going to take the points with Baltimore at home in this game. Shoot. Next game on the board, Saturday, 8:15, the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. And it is a wild card, winner-take-all game. I think here's the deal. Actually, Houston can win that division with a Jacksonville loss. I don't think it's going to happen. They're not on the board.
If Jacksonville loses, the winner of this game wins the division.
False. And it's very hard.
I just heard this today.
If Houston wins the game and Jacksonville loses, Houston wins the division. If Indy wins the game, who is currently the 7th seed, they're the wild card right now. If they somehow, it's all tiebreaker stuff. It's really hard. If Indy wins, they're in, obviously, but they do not win the AFC South. Jacksonville still wins it. Based upon tiebreakers, based upon what they did against each other during the regular season or something. It's very confusing, but Indy's a 1-point favorite at home in this game. Houston 9-7, Indy 9-7, both same record. Houston comes off an impressive win against Tennessee. C.D. Stroud's back. He makes a world of difference for that football team, and they had struggled for a bit without him. So, and then you got Indianapolis, who won their game against Las Vegas. The defense is playing a little bit better for Indy. Like I said, they're the current 7th seed. It's a winner-take-all game. You have to win this game. The winner of this game is most likely going in. They're going in for sure. Who's going to win this game, Dan? Who's the better team?
I got to go with Houston.
I like Stroud, too. I like Stroud. I like his confidence. He played pretty well coming back. I think I got that right. Some of these wild card scenarios are really hard, and there's multiple factors involved, but I'm almost positive I got it right. I like Stroud as well. And the Houston team, we're both taking Houston on the road to win this football game. All right, very good. The Sunday 1 p.m. slate starts, and this game has implications as well. Dan and I are going to talk about some games that don't have any playoff implications. But Tampa Bay travels to Carolina. Tampa Bay's 8-8 on the season. Carolina 2-14. Tampa 5.5-point favorite in this football game. Win for the Buccaneers, and they win that dreadful NFC South. If they lose, it's up for grabs in a New Orleans-Atlanta game that we'll talk about at 3 or 4 games down the road. But Tampa Bay, they come off of they had a chance last week, Dan, to win that division against New Orleans. At home, right?
They looked awful.
The offense was a complete fucking no-show. I don't want to take credit away from New Orleans, but I thought they were going to seal the deal last week. I really did. And they had been humming. I mean, Baker Mayfield had that offense. Their offense was a complete fucking no-show. I mean, they were down 20-0 at one point in that game. It had to be a very disappointing performance, but nothing like a cure like the fucking Carolina Panthers. You know, if there's a team you want to play to
watch out, there's drinks being thrown.
Yeah, to win your division. Speaking of Carolina, they come off of their loss in Jacksonville. They got shut out in that game. Obviously, they're the worst team in football.
Worst owner in football.
David Tepper is the name. He's a hedge fund billionaire. Apparently, a Jacksonville fan was talking a little bit to him. He threw a drink on him. He's an asshole. Whatever. I don't know. I don't think he's a fucking football guy either, man. I just think he has a ton of fucking money. Anyway, I'd love to know what that Jacksonville kid said to him that made him so mad. Throw a drink. Whatever. He got fined $300,000. It's probably in his fucking console of his car. That guy got so much fucking money.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty lame fine
for an owner, right?
Yeah. $300,000. I mean, players get fined much harder than that.
Hit him with a fucking draft pick, Daddy.
No
That's
shit.
what hurts. That's what hurts. I mean, they did that shit to Miami.
Yeah, no. I mean, $300,000 fine for throwing a drink on a fan, a customer.
No. David
You have a visiting fan in your stadium, and
David Tepper's like this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, that was ridiculous.
It doesn't hurt David
Right?
Tepper one bit, right? So,
and at what point are we going to talk about the officiating? Because it sucks balls.
we're going to talk about it when either Detroit or Dallas comes up.
Okay.
But whoever's first, we'll talk about it. Fair? Tampa minus 5.5 in this game. They have a ton to fucking play for. Carolina does not. I have a hard time not taking Carolina on the road at 5.5. I mean, this Carolina's, I guess, Super Bowl, if you will, to knock a division rival.
Wait, you're going to take Carolina?
No. I took Tampa Bay minus 5.5.
Yeah, I'm taking Tampa Bay on this one. But Carolina now.
But you might see the trick bag come out from Carolina and things like that. Maybe it works and they get under the number. I don't know. I get it. I get it. I'm messing with the TV thing. In any event, Dan and I are both on the Buccaneers minus 5.5. Next game on the board, I would say it's a Battle of Ohio, but we're not going to see a whole lot of people play for the Cleveland Football Browns. It is Cleveland. Dan finished his beer on the Cleveland game. I love it. Cleveland travels 4 hours south by vehicle to play the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are a full touchdown favorite in this game.
It's because they got to get this bad boy out.
Oh, shit. He's going for the... Dude, let's see what's... That beer's... How long has that beer been in there, Dan?
October?
Easy. Good 2 months. Easy. Is it frozen? Can you feel it? Shake it a little bit. Can you hear it?
Why am I going to shake up a beer?
Just to see if you can hear liquid. I mean, it's only got 3.5%. It's fucking cold in that freezer.
Good.
You think it's good? It hasn't bubbled out yet. Anyway, Cleveland 11-5 on the season. What a season for the Cleveland Football Browns. Do some Ric Flair shit or something. Woo! There you go. Perfect. Right on cue. I tell you what, good for them.
Might be a little frozen.
Told you, dumbass. If someone told me that one of these teams was in the playoffs and the other team was out on our season prediction show on week 18, I would have guessed it the other way around. It's not that way. The Cleveland Browns are cemented into the 5 seed. As a result, they're playing nobody this week. Dude, I heard that Jeff Driscoll's playing quarterback. I didn't know that fucking guy was on the team. When is that guy on the team? Oh, so you better drink fast,
2 weeks ago.
Oh, there's no way this is going to work. Dave's going to have to finish that by the next game. I guarantee it's going to keep coming out.
We're good.
We're good. We got through the initial rush, I guess. Anyway, they're the 5 seed, like I said. The Browns come off an absolute beatdown against the New York Jets at home on Thursday night. Not that they need extra rest or resting their players anyway. But let's talk about your football team. Defense is good. Let's talk about Joe Flacco.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit that I hated the guy for 13 years.
Right. I mean, obviously, his heyday was with a hated rival, the Baltimore Ravens. The Ratbirds, as Dan likes to call them.
It's the same thing, though, if we draft a Michigan player. Yeah, now you're a Browns. A Brown player. It's fine. He came in. He's good. He's humble, too. I can't believe the interviews he gives.
Sure, he's a fucking pure pro. Yeah, dude, he's a fucking adult. He's fucking 40 years old, Dan. 39, whatever. And Stefanski runs that Shanahan-Kubiak thing that they ran for quite a few years in the heyday of the Baltimore Raven team when Flacco was there. So he's familiar with it. He knows how to run it. The guy's a fucking master in regards to the fake or whatever that is.
Oh, my God.
He's really good at that. He's like a magician.
He did the two-handed fake that he did against the Jets. I was like, holy. I mean.
Pretty good.
It was unbelievable. I mean, so I'm happy. He's happy. I'm happy. Whatever.
What's the ceiling for this Browns football team? In the playoffs.
Bowl or bust, baby.
Okay, fine. Okay. Let's say the Browns make it to, let's start with the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And they lose. What do you do next year?
Flacco better still be on the team.
What do you do with the $300 man?
Send him on a trip to get a massage in Youngstown?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know, right? Right. I mean, what do you do if they make it? If they win a couple of football games, I mean, it's hard. It's going to be hard for the fan base to accept Deshaun Watson, I think, as a starting quarterback for this football team, and not be Joe Flacco going to training camp. I don't know. That we'll see. We'll see if all that rises.
Even if we don't keep him, he's going to be a starter somewhere next year.
No fucking way. No fucking way.
Come on.
No fucking way. Starter? No way. There's a chance he doesn't have a job next year.
Quarterback.
What?
Look at how hard it is to find a quarterback.
I suppose, but Dan,
look at all the injuries that you've had. He's going to be on someone's roster.
I'll buy that. There's no way he's a starting quarterback next year unless the Browns make it to the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl or fucking, who knows, fucking win the Super Bowl. Anything can happen in the playoffs. Then he's got to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. But other than that, he'll be, I think he'll probably find a roster spot if he wants to play. The guy has a ton of fucking money already. Does he want to play and hold a clipboard? I don't know.
I think I said this on an earlier show.
For what? Not
keeping him.
Right. And not him, bringing him in when things were going all wrong after the Aaron Rodgers injury and Zach Wilson not proving to be a viable option, things like that. Cincinnati, they come off with their tough loss in Kansas City, which eliminated them. They were very game, and they led the majority of the way.
It's a good team.
They lose at the end. They lost by 8. The game means nothing. Like I said, it's a very disappointing, injury-marred season for the Cincinnati Bengals. And this is one of these games where I'm like, stay away, man, because you don't know what the hell is going to happen. Cincinnati -7 in this game, Dan.
It's -7?
Yes, it keeps climbing. Well, Jeff Driscoll, who nobody knew was on the fucking Cleveland Browns roster, got announced as a starting quarterback.
Yeah,
wait, where's Dorian Thompson-Robinson? We don't want to hurt this guy? He's fine?
He's on injured reserve.
Oh, he's done for the season.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we got P.J. Walker.
And they were like, no. Yeah, he was the backup last week, and now they signed this dude, and they're like, yeah, no, P.J., you're still the backup.
We don't want you hurt, P.J.
Yeah.
That's really what's happening. P.J. Walker's the backup to Joe Flacco, correct?
He was last week.
Okay, so
Driscoll might be from now on. I don't know.
I don't think that's what's happening. I think they're saying we don't want
PJ hurt.
Flacco's fucking 40. He can get hurt easy.
Okay,
Fucking-
so you're saying for this game you don't want PJ hurt?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know what the hell they're
Fuck,
saying.
Dan, your teams play with a fucking backup quarterback like 90% of the fucking year.
Yeah,
I mean, okay, plug and place, motherfucker. Flacco can't go. PJ's in. We still win.
well,
Right? Anyway, we're sitting
okay,
forever
so
on this game.
Driscoll's playing. Let's see. So Flacco's out. Garrett's going to be out. He won't play.
No, they're not gonna play anybody, Dan.
Amari Cooper won't play.
They're not gonna play anybody.
So there's the top three. So now let's mix and match. So I could see Zadarius Smith being out. And I can almost see Njoku being out too.
He ain't playing. He ain't playing one fucking snap. He'll take his shirt off pregame, but he ain't playing. He'll take his shirt off and never put his pads on. Is what's gonna happen.
So I gotta go with Cincinnati on this.
No, I mean, I'll take the points. I don't fucking know. Cincinnati's not playing for anything either. Who knows? The Cleveland backups are going to, they're going to show their medal and like, hey, put me in, coach, type of thing. I don't know. I'll take the points.
Quarterback is the question.
I understand. Browning, whatever. They're playing with a backup quarterback too.
I'm talking about Cleveland. You said the line's
Oh,
7.
Driscoll?
I can't read your scribble there.
Whatever.
It's like 5.
It was. The line
Now it's
climbed.
6.
Then it went to 6, and then it went to 7 because Stefanski announced today that nobody's playing, basically.
Fucking, I'm taking the Browns. I got all their shit on.
Yeah, I think you should too. I'm going to take them too. It's too big a number. I mean, Cincinnati's playing, they're checked out. They're eliminated. They're playing with a backup quarterback as well. So I'm going to take the points with 7. Dan, are both in agreement? I don't know if I convinced him or not, but we're going to both take the points with the Cleveland Browns.
I've taken Cleveland all year. I'm not going to take them.
I'm not going to back off now, right? Next game on the board, division game, Minnesota and Detroit. Minnesota 7-9 on the season. Detroit's 11-5. Detroit is a 3-point favorite at home. Minnesota, life support. They're 7-9. They come off a loss at home against Green Bay, where they chose to start. What the fuck was that guy's name? What the hell was his name? Oh, Jaron Hall, the rookie out of BYU. Turns out it looks like the Mullins kid should have played. The Mullins kid played the second half, played a little bit better. He's going to get the start in Detroit this week. They need I don't know what all the scenarios are. Minnesota absolutely needs a ton of help. Like, it's not going to happen. They may need a fucking tie as well. I don't know. They need a fucking act of God is what they need to get into the playoffs. It's not going to happen. And then Detroit. They come off of that loss in Dallas. Before you start with the officiating, I know what you're going to go to. They still can possibly get the 2 seed. It's most likely not going to happen.
Because the officials fucked them.
They're probably going to get the 3 seed, and we're going to get to it in a second. And Dallas is probably going to get the 2 seed. If Dallas wins in the nation's capital and they're almost 2 touchdown favorites, they'll get the 2. Detroit will get the 3. And Dan wants to talk about this officiating, specifically at the end of the game with the 2-point conversion, right?
Not only did the refs affect one game, they affected the playoffs.
The standing in the playoffs.
I mean,
right, 2 or 3, right?
It's a joke. And as a coach, I don't know how Dan Campbell did not get ejected from that game, because I would have tried to kill that motherfucker. I would have shoved his white hat so far up his ass. That is ridiculous.
Dan Campbell's a very fiery guy, and his post-game press conference was very reserved.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I was
kudos to
surprised.
him.
Dude, I tell you what, I don't call that guy Dan Campbell anymore. I call him Dan Gamble. That motherfucker, like, fake punt going for 4th downs. He's like got his inner Brandon Staley going on, but he's got better fucking players, so it works more often. But anyway, and here's my big problem with the officiating. My understanding is that Dan Campbell went to the officials before the game started and said, this is potentially going to happen, what we're going to do here, which is the right thing to do. You alert the officials.
Yeah.
When everybody's on notice of what's going to happen, and it happens, then everything goes a lot fucking smoother. It doesn't. I don't care if you're playing football. I don't care if you're at your regular job, if you're doing what I do for a real living or what Dan does. If people are on the same page, things go a lot smoother, right?
Well, and I'm telling you, that microphone that the official wears, I'm sure the NFL knows everything that was said.
And the NFL's not very happy about it either. That crew got downgraded. They will not do a playoff game.
That crew sucks. That crew, if I remember correctly, did the Browns-Steelers game. Or not, no, the Browns-Bears game.
Yeah, fuck them.
And that's when I was bitching about no one
Oh,
calling
yeah,
holding.
Whatever. Oh, my God, I'm so upset. We'll talk about the Bears. They had a
That
real
crew
chance.
sucks.
Detroit -3 in
Sucks.
this football game. Dan and I
Fucking
both.
howdy doody looking freaking. No. The chick with the hair,
Yeah, the female side judge.
Yeah, she was the first one to throw the flag.
Then I feel like Detroit got the short end of the stick in Dallas. It was a great football game on Saturday night. Great football game.
It's not only you and I.
All right.
It's everybody in America.
Detroit,
I mean,
What do you think, Dan?
Detroit. I'm taking Detroit.
I think they're going to play their players probably for the first half. They know that Dallas is most likely going to win against Washington. They're going to be 3, but they're not locked into it. So I think they may play the first half, and then hopefully they can hang on with reserves. They're going to certainly be cautious. But Dan and I are both on the Lions giving a field goal in this game. Next game on the board means absolutely nothing. The intro went longer than I thought, and we're going to go quickly through this.
Yeah.
It's the battle of the
Don't
bottom.
go that quick. I'm going to pee.
Battle of the bottom feeders in the AFC East. That is the Jets traveling to Foxborough to play the New England Patriots. Patriots 2.5-point favorites in this game. Jets 6-10 on the season. Obviously injury-marred season. Aaron Rodgers went down day 1, or week 1 if you will. New England, they were very game, but they lost in Buffalo. We'll see, what happens here. The Jets, I tell you what, I saw that entire game in Cleveland. They looked checked out, man. They looked like they were in Australia or Cancun or whatever other you pick it vacation destination that these guys want to go. They looked very checked out to me. That's a good defense that the Browns put up 30-some points on. Like, they weren't really resistant at all. New England, they were game in Buffalo. I mean, they got an opening kickoff for a touchdown, which always helps. Special teams touchdowns help. I guess the big question before I pick the game is this going to be the last game for Bill Belichick, Dan? In New England?
Yes.
I think so, too. I think it's kind of outworn its welcome. Bill Belichick's a great coach. I think he'll get another job if he wants it. But Bill Belichick, I think, is 70, 71 years old. I'm sure to be very cordial. I don't know what word I'm exactly looking for. But him and Robert Kraft will do it the right way in regards to their divorce, I'm sure. There's a ton of mutual respect there. New England minus 2.5 in this football game. I'm going to take the Pats at home minus the 2.5. I don't think they fucking lose. Potentially Bill Belichick's last game.
I'm taking New England. They're not going to lose to the Jets.
No. Right. There's some motivation there. I mean, I think the players know. I don't know if they love him or hate him. I think Bill Belichick may have a love-hate relationship with some of his players. But anyway, we're both on the Patriots minus 2.5. Next game on the board is a very big game, but only if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose in Carolina, the Carolina Panthers, which are favored by 5.5. But Atlanta travels to New Orleans. These guys are big rivals. New Orleans is 3.5-point favorite in this football game. Atlanta's 7-9 on the season. New Orleans 8-8. But the winner of this game, if Tampa Bay loses, would be the NFC South champion. So all based upon tiebreakers. Atlanta could have had a better record. They went into Chicago last week, got their fucking ass kicked by my Bears. My very good playing Bears.
And Tampa Bay loses, Atlanta's the South champion with a losing record?
They are. And if New Orleans wins the football game against Atlanta and Tampa loses, then New Orleans wins the division. So if Tampa somehow loses in Carolina, Dan, the winner of this game is the NFC South champion. So wild scenarios, yes. Very wild scenarios because everybody would finish with an 8-9 record and Atlanta would hold the tiebreaker somehow. Fuck, I don't know. It's crazy stuff. I watched the entire Atlanta game. Whatever, they don't look good to me. I don't think they're a good football team. The Bears absolutely drubbed them. And in New Orleans with an impressive performance down in Tampa Bay, where, I mean, like I said it earlier in the show, Tampa had a chance to win that division outright last week and probably rest players and be locked into the 4th seed and all this other good stuff. They didn't do it.
Nope.
I mean, they weren't even in the fucking football game. They didn't score in the first half.
Yeah.
Tampa didn't. New Orleans was up 20-0 at some point in time. So they're playing better. New Orleans minus 3.5 against Atlanta, Dan.
Taking New Orleans at home.
Me too. I saw that Atlanta football team with Taylor Heineke. Don't get me wrong, they were playing in snow and some conditions and things like that. This is going to be in a dome. I get it. It's going to be a more controlled environment, if you will. But I wasn't impressed by Atlanta and that performance by New Orleans. I think they keep it rolling. Dan, are both in agreement. New Orleans minus 3.5, right, Dan? All right, next game on the board. Implications as well because Jacksonville has to win in Tennessee where they travel this week. Jacksonville's 9-7 on the season. Tennessee lost season 5-11. Jacks 5-point favorites in this football game, and here's the scenario: they win, and they win the division, and they are the 4 seed. and Dan's Cleveland Browns go to travel to play Jacksonville in the wild card game. But Jacksonville, dude, Dan, this team was fucking 8-3. Runaway winners of this division at one point in time. They lost 4 in a row.
Injuries caught up with them.
They did. Injuries caught up.
Big injury to the quarterback.
So they're 8-3. They lose 4 in a row, go 8-7, and then nothing like a cure coming to town like the Carolina fucking Panthers.
Yeah.
They come to town. They beat them 26-love. Nothing. David Tepper-Samay throws shit on a Jacksonville fan, all that other good stuff we talked about already. Trevor Lawrence's health is the biggest issue. I think he's going to play, Dan. He's going to fucking play. He didn't play last week.
You got
He's
an
going to
AC
play.
joint, throwing shoulder. I mean, that's a bad injury to have for a quarterback.
He's been banged up all year, man. He had that
I mean,
ankle. Remember the ankle in Cleveland?
Yeah, but
and he played.
He couldn't throw the ball with the ankle.
Nee.
He was off. I mean, we said that before.
It's a battle of attrition, man. I mean, your team's played with a backup quarterback all year, Dan.
Yeah, fuck. I don't feel. I have no sympathy for them.
Right. So they drubbed Carolina, right, at home, and put themselves in a position to win this division. Would they win? But they got to go to Nashville and play Tennessee. Like I said, Tennessee's 5-11. Tennessee comes off their loss against Houston. I tell you what, and not a great season for Tennessee, but maybe Will Levis is the answer, so that's a silver lining, if you will. Jacksonville's not had a lot of success in Nashville, Dan.
Is he hurt, Levis?
I don't know if Levis or Tannehill is going to play. I don't know. I'm going to take the lead. Jacksonville has a ton to play for. I think they do get Christian Kirk back this week, who got that hamstring injury. I remember he was one of my fucking player props that Thursday night football game. I remember. I forget what game it was.
They're missing a receiver, aren't they?
Christian Kirk.
Is that the receiver?
That who went down with a hamstring a while back. Yeah, he'd been missing for a while. I mean, it's a tough, man. When you get to week 18 in the National Football League season, teams are banged up, and man, you need people to step up, man. Next man up, right? Tennessee or Jacksonville -5. I'm laying it all day. T-Law is going to play in this football game. I don't know how effective he's going to be. He's going to play. -5, Dan.
I'm taking Jacksonville.
Very good. Sunday, 4 p.m. slate starts. We Seattle and Arizona. I'm going to let Dan do the introductions. That line says Seattle -2.5, Dan.
Holy hell, 2.5.
I got to go potty.
I mean, what the hell is Seattle playing for? What, the 7th spot? The bottom of the rung to get in the playoffs? They're going to win this game. Arizona blows.
Seattle has a chance. I'll be there in a second.
Huh?
Seattle has a chance to get in, but they need a lot of help. I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah, I mean,
Easy to read.
Ken's peeing, so should I do the Jeopardy? Do, 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 do. Be back in a second. I'd like to talk about the next game, Chicago and Green Bay.
Nothing like handing off you a game, right? That kind of sucks. That's
Yeah,
hard to
what
talk
the
about.
hell?
Sorry about that. Seattle.
Geno Smith.
Here's what Seattle needs. Seattle needs a win. It's not that far-fetched. They need a win in Arizona and in the Green Bay loss. That's why this game is being played the exact same time as the Bear-Green Bay Packer game. But not far-fetched, right, Dan? I mean, short lines for both these games. They're -2.5 in this game, Seattle. They come off, but Seattle could have been in a much better position. They could have won that football game at home against Pittsburgh. They didn't. Pittsburgh won the football game, so they put themselves in this position where they're in jeopardy of making the playoffs. Arizona, how about that shit in Philadelphia, Dan?
That was unbelievable.
Obviously-
I did end up watching that.
Obviously, they're eliminated, but how about that fucking win, man?
And it's turned upside down in Philadelphia now.
Yeah,
Everybody
I can't wait
hates
to
the
talk about them.
coach. They're a mess.
They are a mess. I can't wait to talk about them. They're 3 games down the board. As I glance at it, how sweet a win is that for Jonathan Gannon, who was the defensive coordinator
Yeah,
for the
it's huge.
Philadelphia Eagles and got the head coach job in Arizona? Like, how fucking awesome is that? I'm sure his players were like, I mean, I saw them after they defended the last play, how excited they were. So that's great for the Arizona football team. I saw Kyler Murray play a couple weeks ago against the Bears. He looked pretty good. He looked good in this game, too. I don't think that Arizona is going to be drafting 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the hell they're going to be drafting. I don't think they're in the market for a quarterback. They're in the market for a fucking player, like Marvin Harrison Jr. or something like
He
that.
looked bad on that one pass where he threw and the safety picked it off and went like 100 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, Sidney Brown out of Illinois, my Illinois guy. Yes, he threw a 99-yard pick to Sidney Brown. He did. Dan, this Arizona team is playing pretty hard, and they're going to play hard in this football game. Seattle -2.5 in this football game. They got a ton to play for, but I mean, obviously Arizona's like all about the spoiler role. They're going to play their players. They're going to win this football game.
Yeah, why not?
I don't think they are. I think Arizona's going to win
think?
this football game. I don't. I would love. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
2.5.
It's easy, right? Short of a field goal, right? All they got to do is win a football game, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, most games don't end up at 1 or 2. They end up at 3 if you win. Dan's on Seattle. I think Arizona's going to win the football game outright behind Kyler Murray. I mean,
Wait, no, I was on Arizona.
yeah, we're both on Arizona.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you were saying to me. Next game on the board. Very big football game for the Green Bay Packers. The Chicago Bears travel to their arch rival, the longest standing rival or whatever you want to say, game in the National Football League, Chicago and Green Bay, founding franchises. Green Bay's a 3-point favorite at home. Bears are 7-9 on the season. The Packers are 8-8. I always talk about the away team first, but Green Bay, here's the deal. They win and they're in. They're in as the 7th seed, but they got to win the football game. Let's talk about Chicago. At home last week against Atlanta. And they kicked shit out of them. I want to say the final was 37-17. This team is playing so much better. I refer to them as kind of the Detroit Lions of last year. The Lions won their last 8 football games. And that's the reason why they got that Thursday night football game, because they're an up-and-coming football team. The Bears have lots of big decisions. Justin Fields probably played his best game of the year.
Apparently, they made a big decision, and they're keeping Eberflus.
Yeah, I think Eberflus is going to be there. I mean, this is Chicago's Super Bowl.
To me, if you're keeping him, you're keeping Justin Fields.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. He could reset the quarterback salary, which is a very big deal. And the Bears Justin Fields is making this decision very hard. 4, 5, 6 weeks ago,
You can reset it, but what if the guy you take to reset it sucks ass?
I know. It's a significant gamble. I think there's a chance that the Bears stay with Fields now because of the way he's played down the stretch. If he can back it up with a win in Green Bay and play really well again, the players want him there. I'm talking too much about the Bears. I hate that they're out of this football game. They blew up quite a few football games in here, and I tell you what, the game in Cleveland, the only game that is your team on like a long winning streak? How many games they won in a row?
4 games.
4. I mean, the Bears had them. If they won that football game,
have us. Come
oh
on.
fucking Christ! If the Bears have won the game in Cleveland, this game is a winner-take-all wild card spot, like super fucking fun. It's not. I've talked about my team too much, but Dan, I tell you what. Remember last year with Green Bay, they had that Sunday night football game. They had to win the football game against Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit went in there, kicked shove 'em, and they got kicked out of the playoffs. It may happen again this week. Green Bay -3. Dan, they're going to go to the playoffs, or the Bears going to kick them out?
Bears going to kick the shit out of them.
They fucking are, man. They are.
Is that good of a coach?
They are.
He's
They're
not that good in pressure situations.
Bear
Chicago.
defense, fucking
I've taken
turnover
Chicago
machine.
all year long. I'm not straying again.
You have taken the Bears a lot this year. I love it too. Bears defense playing so well. I would love to see Justin Fields back up his best game of the year with another fantastic football game. I think it might cement the decision for him to stay in Chicago as a quarterback, and the Bears try to grab another bounty with the number 1 overall pick that they're going to get from Carolina. Fuck Green Bay. We're both on the Bears getting the 3 points. Next game on the board, it means absolutely nothing. Kansas City and the Los Angeles Chargers division game. I forget, the line changed. It's 3.5 is what my understanding is now. The Chargers -3.5 in this game, and it's largely because Andy Reid announced that Patrick Mahomes will not play this week. The Kansas City Chiefs are locked into the 3 seed in the tournament. They will get a home game at Arrowhead. They come off that win against Cincinnati where they look lackluster again. They kind of turned it on. I guess the offense showed some signs of life in the second half. Maybe, Dan, is the best, spin you can put on it for the Kansas City Chiefs. And then the Chargers.
They're not good.
No.
Our offense is
But they're
not
the defending
good.
champs. They're still the defending champs. You can't take that away from them. Chargers, they come off of that loss against Denver. They're an awful football team. Changes are coming there. They're obviously going to have a new head coach. They're thinking vacation. They're -3.5 in this game against Kansas City. Blaine Gabbert will be your starter for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yay.
I'm taking the points with Kansas City. I think their backups are equally good as a Chargers checked out football team.
Yeah,
I'm taking the points.
I'm going with Kansas City as well.
Yeah, how about that? We like them as underdogs. We don't like them as favorites, right?
No, I mean,
we're both on Kansas City.
Chargers, come on. That's a fucking mess.
Another awful game that we're going to go through fairly quickly because I feel like the show may be running a little bit long. Denver and Las Vegas, another division game.
Yeah, no, fuck. I don't even want to talk about Denver. I have no respect for them. And I don't know when this happened. Was it last week's show?
I don't know where you're going.
The whole Russell Wilson and the contract bullshit. Denver's a freaking mess. Yeah, it was last week. It was a shit show because they played the Chargers.
Yeah, that Jared Stidham kid played. He played okay. Apparently, I don't understand the whole situation, but they're not playing Russell Wilson because they got to pay him a lot more or some shit. I don't know, which is kind of shady.
So if you were on that team and they're like, wait, they're dicking his contract, what are they going to do to mine?
Right?
I'd be like,
what kind of
fuck
message
that.
does it send? I think is what Dan's saying to the players.
Screw that.
Vegas -3 in this game.
I'm taking Vegas.
I'll take them too. I agree. I mean, did Antonio Pierce do enough, show enough with the
No,
signs
but
off
that just by Vegas winning, that just leads intrigue to that story. Because who's that guy going to hire? You going to keep the guy?
They played pretty well under Antonio Pierce.
He should have kept Basaccio.
Yeah, I remember that situation too. Were they an interim spot last year too, just like they are this year?
Was it last year?
No, couldn't have been. McDaniel's
2 years ago.
Yeah. Anyway, Dan.
2 years ago, because we watched that game here, that wild card game.
You're right. He's 100% right. I recall exactly what he's saying. We're both on the Raiders. -3 in this meaningless football game. Next game on the board, Philadelphia plays division against the Giants. Philadelphia 11-5. Giants have the opposite record, 5-11. Philly 5-point favorite on the road against the Giants. Philadelphia, we spoke about it earlier, talked about it earlier, came with that loss at Arizona. What's fucking wrong with this football team, Dan? I mean, first of all, the defense has some fucking problems. The defense has some issues. It doesn't look like they like each other too much either.
No,
the players. I mean, internally in Philadelphia. I don't know. What is the problem? Do you know?
Definitely something going on. The coach was young, had a bunch of success, had some coordinators, everything worked. Now that the pieces are torn apart because his coordinators got hired, he's got to right the ship, and he hasn't been able to do it.
Right.
And it's apparent. I mean, they look like shit.
They're going to end up in the 5 seed, barring an absolute collapse by the Dallas Cowboys in the nation's capital, where they're 13-point favorites, and it comes up on the board in like 2 or 3 games here. Philadelphia -5 against the Giants. I mean, they're still going to fight. Like I said, we mentioned they come with that loss against Arizona. The Giants are very game at home against the Los Angeles Rams. Had a chance to win the game at the end. They missed the field goal. Tyrod Taylor starting quarterback there. I don't know. Is Philadelphia going to go in there on a high note and win this football game?
Yep.
I think so, too. I agree. I like Philadelphia -5 in this football game quite a bit, actually. I think they easily win the game by a touchdown. Like I said, we got checked out teams, man. Buyer beware on these football games. I'm telling you, people who take our advice, be very careful this week. There's a lot of games that don't mean shit, and players are wildly checked out. Dan can never wear gloves on this show again because he knocks shit over. In any event, we got 3 games left. We're going to keep it that way, apparently. The Los Angeles Rams travel to play the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are 3.5-point favorites.
Hey,
what is that?
What are you selling over there?
Holy hell. Man.
I didn't do that with my
You did. You knocked it down. You knocked shit over.
I knocked it down. I didn't change the channel.
That's super annoying.
That's your IT
We have volume on, too. Holy hell. This is a mess all the time. Anyway. I'll see if I can get the logo back up. Rams travel to play San Francisco. San Francisco 3.5-point favorites in this football game. Rams are 9-7. They're in the playoffs. We don't know if they're going to be the 6th seed or the 7th seed, but they're 100% in. They come off of that win in New York, although it wasn't a good performance, Dan. It was a fairly ugly performance, right?
It's not a good performance, but this McVay and Shanahan matchup, McVay seems to always get the best of him.
Yeah, I mean, in San Francisco, they're locked into the 1 seed. They're not playing their players.
They're not playing anybody.
They're not playing anybody. Dan and I talked for the last probably 3, 4, 5 weeks about how dangerous we think this football team is, the Los Angeles Rams, because Matt Stafford's somehow healthy. He's an older quarterback, if you will, and they got Kyron Williams, like fucking emerging star in the
Yeah, he can
National
run the
Football
ball.
League. Oh my God! I've loved that kid since he was at Notre Dame. I like watching him do blitz pickups. Man, he sticks backers that come in there full force. And they got the Puka Nicole. We talk about it every week. I mean, I think they're a dangerous football team. And Dan, you know what I think is going to set up? I think the Rams are going to go to Detroit, and this is going to be Jared Goff's chance to go.
Ooh.
Fuck you. You know, how fun is that? If that ends up
Yeah.
being there's a very good chance that happens. The Rams go to San Francisco. San Francisco minus 3.5. I haven't heard what Shanahan's had to say about their team, but I can't imagine that they're going to play players and risk injury. I'm going to take the points of the Rams.
I am too.
I mean, I think you want the 6th seed as opposed to the 7th seed. It's in jeopardy. We're both on the Rams getting the 3.5 points. Next game on the board. A game does mean something just simply because Dallas and Philadelphia here, but it's kind of a lopsided matchup. It's Dallas traveling to the nation's capital to play the Commanders. Dallas, 13-point favorites in this football game. We talked about them quite a bit already. I mean, they have an 11-5 record. They come off of that win in Detroit that Dan and I both kind of feel got stolen from the Lions by the officials. But we went over it some nauseam already. You know,
That
Dallas
fucking guy should be kicked in the nuts repeatedly.
Right. I mean, they downgraded the crew, Dan. They're out of the playoffs. They're not allowed to be in the playoffs. So that's it. Their season's
They should
over.
be downgraded and not be allowed to do flag fucking football.
That's heavy, but I think the officials should be a year.
If I saw that guy on my field at Pee Wee, I'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna fuck us again?"
I hear you. I hear where you're coming from, man. I think it should be a full-time gig, and like there should be symposiums and watch all kinds of stuff and CLEs, or I call them CLEs in my job. You have education
Yeah,
credits.
fuck.
that you
I
can,
gotta
right?
do fucking tests.
My wife walked out. She has education credits every 2 years. She doesn't do any of them until like December 15th. Whenever she has to report. But anyway.
I mean, for him to come out and go, 70 reported as eligible. I'm like, 70 wasn't even freaking on the field.
I know. It was a mess. It sucks that game got decided by the officials. Nobody wants to see that ever in a football game. Washington, they come off their loss against San Francisco. They were very game for a while. They ended up losing by the number. I think it was 17. Rivera's out as head coach. They have quarterback questions. I think Sam Howell's starting this week. Dallas minus 13. They're going to blow them out. They're going to have a big lead and then call off the dogs. What's going to happen? This is a tough fucking betting week, Dan.
I almost got to go with Washington on this because Dallas is going to go mess with them and be ahead and blow them
Yeah,
out.
I agree. I was going the exact same process as Dan.
I mean, there's no sense in Dallas playing to beat them by 14.
I like the backdoor touchdown from Washington to get them under the number as well, and they win the game by 10, even though the game's not in question at all. I don't know. We'll see. Dallas has a ton of firepower, but they suck on the road. They're fucking great at home. They suck on the road. We'll see. And Washington's going to come to play. And now we got a doozy of a fucking football game. It's on Sunday night. Tom, you got to stay up for this one. I know you will. It is for all the marbles in the AFC East. Winner take all. It is the Buffalo Bills traveling down to play the Miami Dolphins. Buffalo, 3-point favorite in this game. Buffalo, 10-6 on the season. The Dolphins are 11-5. Buffalo, you talk about a ton of fucking shit to play for. This team can end up being the 2 seed and the winners of the AFC East with a win in Miami. Or they could be seeded as a wild card. Or they could be out completely. And I told Tom that I would explain the whole thing to him. The shit's small on the board. We've had some drinks. Here's the deal. Buffalo is out of the playoffs if they lose this game down in South Beach and Pittsburgh wins and Jacksonville wins. Both Pittsburgh and Jacksonville are favorites in their football game. Pittsburgh is a 4-point favorite. Jax is a 5-point favorite. If your Fins beat the Buffalo Bills and those two things happen, they're out completely. A very good football team left on the outside. With that being said, they're 3-point favorites on the road for a reason. The Miami football team. Well, let's talk about Buffalo. Let me talk about. No, they are. They are certainly in. We'll talk about them in a second. My wife just walked out here. She needed to make a drink, and she's ready for commentary. That's just fine. Buffalo. You know, everybody acts like, hey, this team's so much better, and they're currently slated as a 6 seed right now, right? They're in the tournament as we sit, but meanwhile, very fluid. They could be in or out. The last 2 weeks, they haven't looked very fucking good at all, Dan.
No, they haven't.
Remember 2 weeks ago when they barely squeaked out of Los Angeles against the Chargers with that win? And then they back it up this past week at home against New England, where it was a very fucking tight game, right? So they haven't played very well for 2 weeks. And then let's talk about Miami. They went up I-95 and got their ass kicked by the Baltimore.
Spanked.
I mean,
they got fucking killed.
And then sustained more injuries, maybe one that shouldn't have happened. Bradley Chubb playing late in the fourth quarter of a game that is not in question, goes down with an ACL tear. You talk about a very good football team.
Wait, I didn't hear that. He's out?
Yeah, I think there was like 3 minutes left in the fucking football
God.
game, right? Like no reason for him to play. Look, I love Mike McDaniel.
You can play that.
And you talk about a team that is a very good football team that's really beat up by the attrition of the National Football League season. Jalen Phillips went out quite a bit ago. Their other star pass rusher. Now Bradley Chubb's out. You're talking about
the defensive back went out.
What's his name?
Xavier Howard.
Xavier Howard. You got it. Thank you. Jalen Waddle is out. This team. I mean, here's the deal. They're a good football team. They're going to need like a superhero performance from their football team to win this football game. Good news is they got a fucking superhero. Motherfucker wears jersey number 10 for the Miami Dolphins. Yes, they do. Dan, what do you think about this football game?
What's the running back? Moster?
He's banged up. He's out. My wife says he's out too. They got David Achen. They got Jeff Wilson. We'll see.
I don't know. Miami got their ass kicked. I'm going to go with Miami at home.
Me too. Fuck you, Buffalo. Fuck you. I hope you're out completely. I'm on the Fins as well. I love Mike McDaniel. Like I said, they're going to need heroic performances from players. They got a dude who wears a fucking cape on that team, and it's jersey number 10. So hopefully he shows up big. I like this football team. I think they bounce back in South Beach. I think they win the AFCs. Go Fins. EEE. We are on to Elephant Picks. And then we are on our outro. We're going to pick the national championship game as well for you this week. I have no idea fucking if you look. This is going to take a hot bet for me.
Chicago.
Woo! I fucking love it. I fucking love the confidence in the Bears. Bear defense plays so well. JF1, back it up, and you're the quarterback for the Chicago Bears for the next 5 fucking years. Here's your chance. The New England Patriots -2.5 at home against the Jets. There's no way that the Patriot players, knowing that this very well could be Bill Belichick's last game in Foxborough, let this team lose. I'm on the Patriots -2.5 as my best bet. Happy New Year. National championship picks. Dan, Michigan, Washington. Michigan 4.5-point favorites in this football game.
Are we not going to talk about Ohio State?
What are you going to talk about?
They're awful.
The bowl game?
Yeah.
Oh, Dan.
Ryan Day should have been fired.
Get out. Dan, nobody's playing. Dan, here's the...
How do you not have a quarterback ready to play?
Dude, the guy got hurt. Devin Brown got hurt, and then the kid who has to play doesn't play. But Dan and I both
This is the Ohio State University, and you don't have a backup quarterback?
They got 9 months to fix it. It's going to be fixed by a kid by the name of Aaron Nolan.
They ass kicked. They
Dan,
look like shit. Notre Dame, all their backups played, and they fucking rolled.
Here's the deal. But to me, and Dan and I both love college football. I hate what's happening to college football. I hate the opt-outs. I hate the transfer portal. I hate all of it. But here's it.
That's not even an excuse. These are kids in your program, and you put a kid in there that can't even run your offense?
The kids
Come on, that's fucking coaching.
The kids haven't played all fucking year, Dan.
But he's been on the team for all freaking year.
Thank God we have a 12-team playoff coming next year. We only have 14. But every game outside the playoffs, those 2 games.
You're blowing off my comments because of...
No, I'm not.
You're changing the subject.
Okay, Dan, you watched the Ohio State football game, right?
Yes, it was awful. Their offensive line looked awful. I was pissed. That's an embarrassment for people that live in the state of Ohio.
I watched this much.
What?
I watched this much of the game. Did you see? I'm like, who?
Your kids go there. You didn't watch the entire game?
It was on. I was half paying attention. But here's the deal, Dan.
And you're going to debate me now? You watched this much of the game?
He had the
I'll watch plenty of it. I'll watch plenty. I didn't watch hardly any of the bowl games because the bowl games suck because none of the players that play that we watched in the regular college football season in the fall play. They don't play. I'm like, who is that fucking?
Okay, but
who is that guy? Yeah.
These are kids on the team, so you're not coaching the kids that you have?
I suppose. I understand what Dan's saying. Dan's a coach at heart, and I'm not going to
hell?
answer. But the bowl games are absolute a sham. You can't fucking bet them outside of the playoff games. And luckily, we're going to have like 6 or 8 playoff games next year because it's going to be a 12-team field. I'm sorry I started another heated debate between Dan and I. Michigan minus 4.5
Fuck
against
Michigan. Penix, man. That's the quarterback.
Me too.
If Washington can control Michigan's defensive line, they win this game.
I'll tell you what, Michigan, man, they came out with their fucking hair on fire against Bama, and then they kind of lost control of the game. They found a way to win it at the end in overtime. Good for them. With that being said, I said it last week when I had Santa Claus and not Dan here. Michigan and Washington winner. I'm not backing off it. The Washington Huskies are your national championship. Dan are on the same page in regards to that.
How about that? 2 teams that are next year in the Big Ten.
Yes, sir. Big Ten rules. Take that.
No SEC teams.
They beat them, man. They beat them. In any event, we'll be back next week. I'm sure it'll be maybe not as long a show. I feel like this is long, but we'll have 8 games to pick. I don't know what wild card weekends. Looking forward to it. Meaningful football next week. We won't be talking about half the slate, which is non-meaningless football. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Dan, I'll be back next week.